Hello, what's up, my fellow Terrarians, and welcome to my latest video. Well, this should go without saying, but I kinda messed up. If you are, wondering why I had not uploaded a new video for a while, the reason is that I had a video that I was, working on for about 2 weeks, but unfortunately, the mod that I was doing a video on kept on crashing my game, which was quite strange to me at the time because the mod worked perfectly fine before that, and it started crashing my game out of nowhere. So I had to kind of delay my upload schedule, which pissed me off a lot. And because I had to delay my upload schedule, I had to quickly find a new mod to review and rush out a video like in a week. So if this video kind of looks a bit sloppy, that is the reason why. Also, the mod that I wanted to make a playthrough on was the Lunar Veil mod, and hopefully the devs fix the mod and make it stop crashing my game, because maybe then I can review it, but that isn't going to be happening anytime soon, presumably anyway. Well, now that I've gotten all that out of the way, let's get right on to the playthrough. Okay, so the first thing I did was to go to the left side of the world and start exploring the cave that I found. I found a new accessory in there, and then I went further into the cave and then got killed by a slime, which is, typical. I then went further into the cave when I came back and found this strange looking house. This house contained a weapon that I had no use for because I was playing a summoner and I want a summoner weapon, not a magic weapon. What? What the hell is that? Tree nuts? Well, I can't get in here, so I'm a bit lucky. Well, that was an interesting enemy. This enemy is not from the Starlight River mod. It's actually from a different mod that adds in a bunch of enemies called the Continuum Libre mod. I added the mod because it adds in a bunch of enemies to spice things up when I'm around the Terraria world and encountering new enemies. Now, this enemy, on the other hand, called the Loot Rake, is from the Starlight River mod, and it appears that it's guarding the chests. Well, it looks like there wasn't really anything special in it, just oh my, wait, what? It spawns? Well, it looks like opening the chests, releases the enemy from its confines and it begins to chase you. And unfortunately, since I don't have a summoner weapon yet, I can't defend myself. So it's either die or teleport back to the surface. I chose the latter. I then made my very first summoner weapon called the Pale Nail, which is a reference to the Hollow Knight's nail. And look, it spawns in this little guy, the Hollow Knight's main character. I also crafted a whip called the Tin Coal. On my way down to the underground, I accidentally stepped on a shimmer trap and wound up in this strange new biome. The biome, I don't know, gives rejuvenating waters, which basically heals you. Probably removes debuffs, but I have yet to test that. While exploring, I also found this strange temple-like thing in presumably the underground desert. So I might go to the underground desert and explore to see where this leads to. But for now, I will have to leave this place. I went to the underground crimson and crafted a king slime crown. I then summoned the king slime, bullied it a little bit, and then killed it using my pale nail and my tin coal whip. I did this because the king slime drops a new summoner armor, a actual storing armor, not the Flink's armor, called the Prince Slime armor, and it gives me an extra minion slot, so that is always a positive in my opinion. I then snooped around the underground crimson for a while to see if I could find some extra life crystals to boost my maximum health further. I then went back home and a strange event happened, and an NPC spawned in from that event. Well, this NPC called the Crow. Let's see what the NPC has to say. Well, in short, the NPC had to say was that okay, there is strange happenings around the world, and also in the underground biome. The underground desert biome, there is a strange biome down there, filled with a unique structure down there, so I should probably go down there and explore. The NPC also said that I have a special site called the star site that I can use to check items or something. It's probably going to be useful in identifying certain like key items in the mod, presumably. So I then went down to the underground desert in order to find that new biome. And on my way there, I found a pyramid, which is quite rare, quite frankly. I searched the pyramid and found a sandstorm in the bottle, which is pretty rare for me to find. I then continued down the underground desert until I finally found the biome. This biome actually looks pretty cool in my opinion. Now it's just to find the structure. I found one structure, but I could not get into it. So I went to the right hand side of the biome and found another structure. And this one had an NPC called the Mantis. So let's see what the NPC has to say. Well, to give the short version, the NPC basically said that in order to access that other structure, I will first have to defeat it. So let's go and do that right now. Unfortunately, I did not last too long against the Mantis boss, so I will have to try again next time. I went back to base and then started the Eye of Cthulhu fight in order to further progress in this mod, since my avenue for more progress is currently locked behind a wall of me not doing enough damage to kill a boss, basically. So the Eye of Cthulhu will have to suffice for me pulling it and taking out my anger on it. After that, I went to the underground prison and crafted a summoner accessory called the Haunted Amethyst. I then went to the snow biome to explore it for a bit and see if there's anything new to find in there. I found this strange pool that made me swim rather awkwardly around. It's almost like an inverted gravity chamber. After that, I went down further into the underground snow biome and found this strange structure, which I had to place a block in it to unlock it. And wow, okay, this is actually pretty impressive. And what the hell is that in the background? I'm going to assume that this is some kind of boss arena. Yep, it looks very much like a boss arena. And I'm assuming that squid creature in the background, that tree-eyed little goblin creature in the background, is probably going to be the boss. And I just have to find a way to summon the boss, because I'm assuming this could be the first mother boss I will have to fight. When I was done looking around the structure, I went back up to the snow biome surface and got myself a new century summoner weapon that basically summons a heart statue that gives me health and also does a bit of damage to enemies. When I had obtained the sentry staff, I went back down to the structure again to start the boss fight against presumably the squid boss. So let's see that happen. Well, I summoned the boss and there's actually a pretty interesting boss health bar in my opinion. And unfortunately, the boss does a ton of damage and you have to react fast to a lot of his attacks. So I didn't last for too long, unfortunately. So maybe I have to try that a second time. Before I could try that a second time, the goblins decided that now was a good time to spawn in. So let me just quickly clear them out. Okay, now that I've cleared the goblins out, it is time to start the boss fight again and have my second try. Let's see if this one goes a lot better than the last one. Now, I know I was going to go back to the snow biome to retry that boss fight again, but I felt that it was time to quickly defeat the Brain of Cthulhu, which is what I basically did. After that, I crafted a new summoner weapon called the Haunted Dagger Staff. It's a summoner weapon that summons haunted daggers. After crafting that summoner staff, I went down to the underground jungle and built a arena, and I started the queen bee fights I did this in order to craft a new summoner armor set that can help me against the mother boss potentially. After killing the queen bee, I got the wax I needed for the armor, but unfortunately it was not enough, so I had to go down to the shimmer to get some more wax. I crafted a sea glass lens, which is another summer accessory. I then made my way down to the shimmer and shimmered some bee nades into bee wax. There was also a strange new structure in the underground shimmer. So let's see what it does. Well, basically this is what I'm assuming is a gauntlet that basically you have to kill a bunch of enemies, and at the end of the round you get rewards for it. So I did that and got the rewards. I then went back to base and crafted the bee armor. And also a new whip called the Snap Torn Whip. I then went to the Sky Islands to start exploring, and I found this strange pod looking thing that I'm assuming you have to have some kind of special item to break, because I couldn't really break it or destroy it. So I have to wait until later, presumably in the game. After doing that, I went down to the underground ice structure again to defeat the Oracle boss. So maybe I have a higher likelihood of defeating him now that I am more geared up. But unfortunately, that was not the case, and I died on the second try. So maybe I will have to do some further upgrades. And to do that, I went to the Glass River to defeat the boss, or the mini boss in this case. See if I could have some better upgrades in the future, maybe. I defeated the mini boss and got a map and a key. I presume this key is for the other structure, and the map is a map of the structure, detailing what you have to do in order to get the rewards within said structure. I entered the structure and snooped around to see if there's anything I could do. I got past the first gate using a key dropped by the enemies, but I couldn't get past the second one. So I had to snoop around a bit to see if I could do anything. Because I was unable to get into the other parts of the structure, I became frustrated and kind of a bit mad, and went to the dungeon instead and killed Skeletron to able to access said dungeon. After killing Skeletron, I went down to the underground dungeon and grinded a bunch of bones. And this is for future use to craft a new item. I solved the puzzle, the gear puzzle, and then went on to the next stage of the structure, which made me solve another puzzle, this time a lights puzzle. And when I solved that puzzle, another gate opened, and then that was when I walked down the corridor, I made my way to the main chamber of the structure. Within that main chamber, there was this strange looking wind item, and I have seen this wind item being required on multiple places within the Terraria world, so I went in and absorbed it into myself. So basically this weapon, or this, is actually a buff, a permanent buff that gives you a dash called the Wind Dash that basically allows you to break special items within the world, which I basically did. I used it to escape the underground structure and made my way back to the surface. I then used the items gotten from the structure to craft a new summer weapon, which was basically just a glorified flamethrower. I then went back to the underground ice biome structure again to try my luck at the Oracle. It didn't go well the fourth time, unfortunately. So let's try a fifth and final time to see if it will work this time. Well, it looks like I won, which is actually kind of a relief. The boss does a ton of damage, but luckily I had basically presumably over leveled for the boss. So now that the boss is dead, I had obtained a new summoner sentry called the Aurora Bell, which is actually kind of a fun item to use, not gonna lie. I then went back down to the underground desert biome this time, and I found the structure again, and I broke the crystal that was at the top. This crystal has an altar that will help me summon the second boss and the last mod boss of this mod, unfortunately. So I broke the crystal and I summoned the boss. The boss is called the Serios or the Kyrios, I presume. This boss is actually kind of a fun and very interesting boss. But unfortunately, I did not last too long against this boss because not only is the boss extremely dangerous and does a ton of damage, the arena surrounding the boss also does a ton of damage, especially the explosive kind of damage. I had died the first time. When I came back to base, I crafted a new whip called the Magnets Beads whip. I then went back down to the Kyros fight again and tried to fight it to see if I will get forward this time. I was trying to get a lot further into the boss, but it just kept on healing and healing again, and I was confused about how the boss fight was going. So I basically had to check the wiki, and in the wiki it says that you have to use the wind dash to break the crystals that the boss spawns in. You have to progress further into the boss and not get stuck for like minutes on the same phase over and over again, which I basically did. But unfortunately, I didn't really last too long at that and died again to the boss and the explosive arena. So now it is time for the final, hopefully the third and final try for the boss. Let's see how this goes now that I have the knowledge on how to further progress through these boss fights. Let's go. That was it. The boss was actually a very, very fun boss once you learn the patterns and also learn to not stand on the platform for too long or you might get exploded. So otherwise, this was a rather fun boss. I then went back to base after killing the boss and crafted the obsidian outlaw armor. And I did this to get some more whip power. Fortunately, I lose one summon slot, but that doesn't really matter too much to me. I also crafted a new summoner staff, which basically summons pieces of my flesh that once summoned take a bit of my life away, which is, I didn't really notice it until I started the Wall of Flesh fight. So that would be very interesting to see how I play against that. Now, it was time to start the Wall of Flesh fight. So let's see how this goes. I presume it's going to be pretty easy because fighting the Wall of Flesh as summoner is always rather easy, in my opinion anyway. Well, the wall of flesh didn't really last too long, thanks to my new summons and also this strange summoner gun, which I actually forgot how I got my hands on it. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. And we have unfortunately reached the end of these mods content. There is no more content past the pre-hard mode phase. But I think there are going to be more contents coming for hard mode later on, maybe like in a year or two. So maybe I might come back and revisit this mod if it's required. Well, that was an interesting mod to say the least. Again, sorry for watching through this playthrough. So what now? Well, right now I don't really have anything that I am currently planning on doing. So no video next week because I'm going to be spending time coming up with something interesting to do in Terraria. Again, losing footage and not being able to, get the Lunar Veil mods to work really made me mad. It kind of pissed me off and made me unmotivated to do more modded content. Hopefully the devs can sort through the problems of this mod out and make it stop crashing my game. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to like and press that little button that says subscribe on it, and I'll be seeing you next time. Take care and bye.